Hit it, Phil.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Can it be the breeze that fills the trees with rare and magic perfume? Oh, no, it isn't the breeze. It's Jackson time. La-da-da-da.
Well, hello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. Some folks have complained that our intros they don't love or something. I'm like, okay, I'll make one worse. So here we go. I just wanted to say that we've been doing this a while, have a lot of new fans and things that are tuning in and enjoying the Jack Benny show and enjoying our discussions that we do, and that's fantastic. I am looking towards retiring soon, so I need to start generating more funds. And I use Patreon, but I've hardly ever mentioned it on anything. So in the description down below, there'll be a link to Patreon. And if you want to support us on Patreon, as little as $1 a month, or even free, you can sign up for a free account, or as much as like $20 a month if you want to. At that level, you can actually do show intros with me and things, and pick shows you want us to cover and so forth. And any of the levels give you access to some of my library of collection of Jack Benny shows and all the previous podcasts I've done and things. We've got a whole audio library and then a whole separate video library. Great films in there. Some of the biggest films of all time are in there. I love cartoons, and there's tons of cartoons in there. Just a lot of things to explore that I think you'll really like. So try it out, see what you think. You can always cancel at any time or anything, but we could definitely use the support. I'm looking at bringing some new things out that I've never done before. That's exciting. There's things I can present. I can have in my archive, but due to copyright and things, I can't actually post them on YouTube. So this gives you a chance to see some of those things that are hard to find. Anyway, stay tuned after the show for our discussion. And I'm glad you're enjoying these. There's some wonderful Jack Benny's coming up that we've got a lot of good things coming your way. So enjoy.
From Hollywood, the Jack Benny Program with Jack's special guest, Julie London.
Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our show. You know, I just went through the penalty of being a celebrity. You see, this being a studio, you know, where stars come in and go, actors, you see, there's always a crowd of people outside clamoring for autographs and souvenirs and everything. And just as I was coming in, a little old lady walked over to me with a pair of scissors in her hand. And before I knew what she was doing, she cut off the end of my tie. And you know, the whole thing was so unnecessary. I kept telling her I'm not Rock Hudson. But you know, normally, of course, people just ask for autographs. That's all. And, of course, sometimes they ask you to sign the silliest thing, a little piece of cardboard. Well, there was a fella standing there tonight who handed me a dollar bill, you know, wanted me to put my name on it. And so, all those ridiculous. Imagine signing a dollar bill. I think it was $1. Let's see. No, it was $5. Now, at least I can pay for my tie. But and you know a strange thing, you've probably heard this a million times, about people who ask for autographs. For some reason or other, they're always ashamed to say it's for themselves. Everybody who asks, they always say it's for my granddaughter or my grandson, you know? I don't know why it is, but they're ashamed to say, give me an autograph for me. It's for my granddaughter. They always do it. But then, of course, don't get me wrong, I appreciate all of my fans. As a matter of fact, so much so that tonight I've gotten so many lovely fan letters, I'd like to read some of them for you tonight, if you don't mind. Could I have my fan mail, please? Thank you. I'm not going to be able to read it all, you know. I'll just, Oh, for heaven's sake, this isn't my bag. This is Don Wilson's lunch. There's something moving in there. I don't know what. Here, take this back, will you, please? For heaven's sakes. Imagine having all... You thought I was kidding, didn't you? Get this out of here. He has to eat it later. Here. Thank you. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the reason that I wanted to read some of these fan letters to you is because you'd be surprised how many letters I get asking me if just once I would play a violin solo and finish it, that I'd stop kidding around with it, you see? So I'm going to do it. Because they want me to. I'm going to do it now. May I have my violin, please? Thank you. My bowl? And my rosin? Now, of course, normally, you see, I would have a stagehand to bring these things out, but I just thought I'd like to do something for you folks who are not music lovers. You may go now. This bit alone cost me $600. But it started 3 beautiful friendships. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to play Monty's Chardas, if I may. Did you come up from the audience? Well, honey, you're not supposed to come up here on the stage in the middle of a show, you know.
I'm sorry, Mr. Benny, but I thought maybe you'd let me have your autograph.
Well, I'll give it to you as soon as the show is over. So
Okay.
just go back and then come back later. Oh, wait a minute. As long as you were here. Come here. I'll give it to you now. You sure this autograph is for you? I mean, it isn't for your grandmother or anything.
Oh, no, this is for me. My grandmother already has the end of your tie.
I see. All right. Then I will give you this autograph. What is your name, honey?
Tony Marcus.
Tony Marcus. That's a cute name. Oh, wait a minute. This is so uncomfortable. Here, hold this a minute, will you, darling? Be careful. That's a violin here. Well, that's not it. Here, hold the bow. Don't touch the hair or anything. Just hold the bow, then I'll write something nice on here, you know. To Tony, with all good wishes. With all good... Thank you very, very much. That's fine. No, that's fine, honey. That's fine. That's fine. Give me the violin already. Now, go back where you were sitting. I'll see. Wait a minute, come here. Here's the autograph. You can iron it out later. I probably, you know, I was a little bit upset. You're welcome. You're welcome. Of course, it would be ridiculous for me to play that same number now. But ladies and gentlemen, I know you won't be disappointed when I introduce my guest star of the evening, a very, very talented, lovely young lady who's one of our most popular recording stars and certainly one of our most beautiful, Miss Julie London.
Hey, Daddy, I want a diamond ring, bracelets, everything. Daddy, you ought to get the best for me. Daddy G, won't I look swell in Sable's clothes with Paris labels? Daddy, you ought to get the best for me. Here's an amazing revelation with a bit of stimulation. I'd be a great sensation. I'd be your inspiration. Daddy, I want a brand new car, champagne, caviar. Daddy, you ought to get the best of me. For occasional recreation, how about San Juan for vacation? I promise I won't ration all you need for relaxation. Daddy, I want some charge accounts at Saks for large amounts. Daddy, you ought to get the best from me. You ought to get the best from me. Oh, baby, like, if you can't make it, I'm gonna have to split. You dig? Bye.
Julie, that was just wonderful, and I can't tell you how happy I am that you're on the show with me. Huh?
Oh, well, Jack, it's a big thrill for me working with America's #1 comedian.
What'd you say, Julie?
I said it's a big thrill for me to be working with America's #1 comedian.
Look, Julie, when you sing, whisper, you see?
Yeah.
But when you're complimenting me, speak up. I mean, the way she talks, I feel like we're doing our show in a library. But anyway, Julie, I do want to thank you for the compliment. I've always been a great admirer of yours, you know, and I love all of the albums that you make. You do such a good job with them.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say so, Jack.
Lately, and the records, so many of those records. Tell me, what is the most difficult thing about making a record album?
Posing for the covers.
Well, you still do a very good job with it. You know, I wanted to tell you that not only that I'm glad that you're on the show. This is the second time you've been with me, isn't it?
I should say so, Jack. And you know, I always enjoy being with you so much.
You have?
Mm-hmm. I certainly do. You're so easy to work with. Usually I'm nervous, but with you I'm so relaxed. You make everyone feel so comfortable, so at ease.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I've admired you for so long. In fact, I think you're the sweetest person I know.
You're whispering again.
Well, I mean it. You are sweet.
Wait for the laugh, honey. Wait for the laugh. What did you say? What?
I mean it, Jack.
That
I
I'm
really
sweet?
do.
I see it.
And, you know, I'd really like to tell you what I think of you, but maybe you'd let me sing it to you, huh?
Want to sing what you think? Okay, go ahead.
Whenever I'm downhearted or have a trying day, you come along and kiss me. You're sweet that way. And when I'm feeling moody, without a word to say, you my moment. You're sweet that way. And anytime I want some warm affection, I merely hold my... I feel sick when things are not okay, because you never let me down.
I'm sweet that way. Isn't she beautiful? I think she likes me, too, you know. And now, ladies and gentlemen, not to disappoint you, I'm going to do what I started to do before, and that is play a violin number now all the way through. Could I have my violin, please? My bow. And now my rosin. Where's that third girl that was here?
That was me.
You?
Yeah. I didn't know I had to come back, so I took my makeup off.
Oh, get off of here, will you? All of you. For heaven's sake. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play the Meditation from Thais.
You, but on this autograph you gave me, you spelled Tony wrong.
I spelled Tony wrong?
Yes. When Tony is a girl's name, it's spelled with an I.
Oh, and I spelled it with a Y.
No, with an E.
I spelled Tony with an E?
Yes, two of them.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Well, look, I'll fix it up for you later, huh?
Okay. And Mr. Benny,
What?
I'm sorry I interrupted you, because I love to hear you play the violin.
Do you really?
Yes, I listen to you all the time.
No.
Yes. And you know that number you did with Giselle Mackenzie?
Oh, you heard, is the one that, Getting to Know You mean?
Uh-huh, I can play that.
Really?
I always practiced it at home.
You mean after you saw Giselle and me, after you heard us do it, huh?
Yes.
Oh, for heaven's... And you can play it? Really? Her part, huh?
Yes.
Oh, gosh, diablo. Well, would you like to play it with me? Yeah?
All right.
You wouldn't be nervous or anything, would you?
No.
You sure? All right, here. Hold it. I'll get another violin. Oh, Don, will you please get me a violin from the orchestra? You sure you won't be afraid now? Well, for a fella that eats his lunch out of a mail bag, he's got beautiful legs. All right, we'll play Getting to Know You. Oh, by the way, you know, I used to have a lot of trouble with Giselle McKenzie when we played that number. See, she used to show off and do a lot of tricks and everything to upset me, see? So don't just play the counter melody. Just straight. No tricks or anything, huh? You promise?
Yes, sir.
You won't show off with it or anything like she did. Just straight, huh? You know, it's beautiful counter melody. No tricks, all right? Let's tune up. Give me A, will you, please? That's close enough. Okay. Oh, by the way, darling, how old are you?
12 years old.
12 years old. That's you. All right, we'll play Getting to Know You, please. Oh, shut up! Another half a chorus, please. Now play it straight, will you, please? Fool around with me, sister. Tony, look, I don't care if we're here all night. I don't care if we go into the next show. Just once, I want you to play it with the right, with the counter melody. Will you please do it for me? Just as a favor. Don't show off with it. Just play it straight. 12 years old. She's 31 if she's a day.
Violets are blue. I'm beginning to sound like you.
Roses are red, carnations are white, and you are fired as of tonight.
Jack will be back in just a moment, but first...
Good night, folks. I'll be seeing you soon.
Well, hello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. I am joined by John. How's it going, John?
Doing well.
Yeah, and he's in the summer part of his show, This Day in Jack Benny, and doing some of the stuff from Patreon, right? That you used to.
Yes, and if I can promote something about This Day in Jack Benny,
no, you
check
can't.
out.
This is my podcast. We will not.
Okay. Check out the website because I've organized it where you can go year by year and sort of scroll through the episodes. So if you're on the summer, you want to watch or listen to some Jack Benny, I think that's an easy way to navigate.
Yes.
So it's
And
thisdaybenny.com.
And also on that marvelous website is the fantastic job that John and his wife Stephanie did of reading my book out loud as an audio book. And it's so fabulous. And it's so rare that a kind of academic book gets this kind of star treatment. And how nice I posted something to the Benny Facebook fan page. And someone wrote back in that saying he was visually impaired and it made him really difficult to read books. So how grateful he was for this opportunity. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm very grateful.
Definitely. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. And I've been doing a book thing myself on the deep thoughts of Harpo Marx that I've been sharing. I think taking a while. I think it's quality work. Anyway, we're not bored. We have Kathy Fuller-Seeley with us. Hey, Kathy, thanks you so much for being with us, and just you guys are great for wanting to do this and for us to keep going, and it's amazing where we're at. I'm like, okay, so we're getting so far along. I'm like, okay, well, it's not going to be too much longer till we're through the whole thing. Probably another year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, but there are so many episodes from in 62 and 63 and 64. So,
but even those seasons, yes, there are 39 episodes if you had them all, but there's only like 15, maybe 8 tops in circulation. So it's a lot, but it's we're getting down there to where we're
considering how many we've done already. Yeah,
we've done so many already, and it's been great. Well, and then I love it because I'm looking and I'm going, did we do this one? And then you'll find it and you're like, oh yeah, we did it 3 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And I never know with these. I'm always like, have we done the Julie London one? It's like, but then you watch it and you're like, oh no, we haven't.
Yep.
So yeah, this is Julie London, and she her song is interesting. She has a really different sort of style. Both her style of singing is different, and her style of talking is different too. And he mentions about her style of talking and jokes around about it. But I don't know if I would assume she sort of always talked that way, or whether she was playing it up because, of course, he's making a joke of it, so she's even talking softer or something. I don't know.
Right. Well, it turns out I did a little bit of research about her, and after she sort of ended her singing career, she was on a television show, Emergency, with her second husband for a number of years. And you got to talk up, if you're in an emergency room and you're a nurse. So apparently this was a bit of a act for her early recording career.
My gosh, I know exactly who she is and who she played. I liked her character. Did not at all connect the two people that they were the same person. But
so what is her character like on Emergency?
On Emergency, she is the nurse, the main key nurse, and she's the person that probably talks with them more when they're out, like the paramedics are out and they need something, and so they're and she relates what the doctors say to them, and so she's always talking on the microphone thing to them, ringers lactate and do that, whatever it is that she's going to tell them to do, and then she has some of the deeper acting on the show in that they'll have people who have a major issue of some sort, and she'll be the one who talks to them and kind of softens things up and so forth, and her relation with the doctors is always interesting. Um, I believe she was married to one of the actors on there. I'm not sure if they met before or after the show, but I think
Well,
it
it
was
turns
Bobby
out
Cruz
her
that
first husband at a young age was Jack Webb.
Oh, there
No
you go.
Dragnet.
way.
And they had a couple of kids together. But then they divorced by the late 50s, and she really ramped up her singing career. She was in a lot of movies, a lot of westerns.
Yeah.
But then with the second husband, Jack Webb produced Emergency.
Yeah.
So they had a kind of, understanding of working together, even so.
Interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just interesting knowing and yeah, her voice is nothing like the soft voice that she uses on this. It's not a harsh voice or anything. It's just she projects like an actress should, and the whole thing, and just seems really. She's one of those that you get used to them in a certain role, and you just think of them as like, oh, she seems like a very competent nurse, and of course she's a competent actress being a competent nurse, but yeah. So yeah, interesting show, and I hadn't really thought about that either. It's a very Jack Webbish style, the staccato kind of delivery that they all use on all his shows, whether it's 1 Adam 12 or this or Dragnet. That's his shows are very distinctive in their approach. Yeah, and in radio too. I mean, I can't think of another person who's affected so many different shows with a unique style that all the actors have to grab onto. Really, I mean, the closest I can think of it now is probably like The Pit, where in The Pit because it's a show, like it's very similar to ER was back in the day, and everybody has to just really be able to deliver fast dialogue that's all on the technical side, and then also flip on a dime and do a dramatic scene or whatever, because they've got people dying left and right and the whole thing. It's a really well done show. I really enjoy The Pit. And what's interesting with The Pit is Noah Wiley, who's the main actor on it and producer and really the backbone of the show, said they really couldn't find, or it's more difficult to find an actor in Hollywood, because you don't want like a soap opera-ish actor, because that's not at all what you're trying to do, right? So they said very few of their actors have a whole lot of Hollywood experience. One of the guys on there has been on one episode of CSI, I think, before they did this, and that's it. For their, you go to their IMDb and it's a joke, right? And yet they're one of the main players on this. But it's because they were like on Broadway. All of them are like actors from Broadway and things. So they took these actors that are used to learning a lot of dialogue and having to memorize entire plays that they're doing, and so they can remember all the stuff that they have to do on this show. And it's been a great thing, and it introduced people to a whole bunch of new actors that we hadn't seen before, who are excellent actors. They're not like learning their craft. It's like they are really top notch. Anyway, but
well, I know what you're saying about Dragnet, because there is a particular voice.
Yes.
And sometimes it's a little too clever in the writing. That's how I feel about the West Wing too. It's like you got a clever writer, but that just means all the characters are a little too clever.
Yes. And they all sound the same. It's like nobody has like an individual personality too much. It's like, okay, you're all really smart, really funny people who are eloquent at the same time. You almost need another character, I don't know, have the janitor that's just the funny guy who doesn't always have the right words for everything or something.
And there's these sort of things also that are repeated in Dragnet, where it's like this sort of like somebody will say something, the person will respond, "How's that?" which is something everybody says, "How's that?"
How's that?
And then it's the zinger after that.
Yeah, exactly. It's a setup. Yeah, agreed 100%. And the fact that when I talk to you, it's going to be at 90 miles an hour, and you're ready 90 miles an hour to talk back to me and answer back. I've always wanted to like go to somebody and So what time did this happen? Well, let me think. It was early morning. I'm not 100% sure. He'd be like, "Yeah, just give me the answer. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts." Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, of this episode, let's get into this with Julie Lynn. Kathy, what stood out to you?
Well, I was not very familiar with Julie London's singing career, so
Okay.
that was I was kind of shocked that the standards and practices didn't mind this song. It just shows that the 1960s is opening up,
Right.
because her song "Daddy," is very much about a kept woman.
Yes.
And delighting in it, and I love the fact I zoomed in, and apparently that is a picture of Jack Benny back making in the from the 1930s that she's holding up to talk to. So I thought that was kind of funny, and I love the bit afterwards. That I mean, we've had something when he takes an actress's hand in his mouth.
Yes.
We've seen that in fairly other ones and go, oh, it's a little icky or creepy. Or with Marilyn Monroe, we understand it, but sometimes, and I love the fact that here she
Yeah.
wiped her hand off on him, and he goes, ah! So
That's brilliant. Yeah. See, you got to add something like that, and that makes it work. Yep. 100%.
yep. It turns out, for again, the missing commercial, that Don Wilson comes out and asks Julie to help making an album he'd like to make called Don Wilson Sings Music to Drink Tea By, because it was Lipton tea this
Uh-huh.
week. So
Again, let's lose the. It's so sad because we lose so much of Dawn, and and we just love Dawn, and so I just would so love to see these commercials.
because this is the other one where a very great Dawn surprise, because so we got the half with Julie London where she's singing and it's not much going on, and then the continuing bit of setting up the little 12-year-old girl Tony Marcus
Yes.
to just come up with her big eyes, and she plays deadpan so well,
Yes.
of coming up on stage to ask Jack for an autograph and being sort of slightly annoying and know-it-all, and grabbing the violin and playing it. It's wonderful when she comes back,
Yes.
and that Jack gets to recreate his Giselle McKenzie duet with the little girl. So
Yep. I love that too. And just how, and it's so perfect, Jack Benny, for him to really stress the just play it normal, just play it like,
don't be
and
nervous. Don't be
and
nervous, funny,
whoever
and
he
things like
says
that.
it to completely ignores him, and
Yeah.
that's what you're supposed to do with Jack. He's just
The one thing, because the routine is exactly the same as what he'd done with Giselle McKenzie, which you can see from the episode that Buck you will have attached to another show.
Yeah.
And the one thing that didn't sit exactly well with me was when he snaps at the kid, "Shut up." That you could do that to an adult woman, but maybe that one line I might have changed for dealing with a little 12-year-old girl. But I think she really gets him
enough when he
Yeah.
said shut up. It's like, oh, shut up. And
Yeah.
so it's not quite as aggressive as a straight on shut up would be.
Okay.
So he takes the shuts out of the up part.
Okay.
So I
Well,
does try and deaden it a little, but still it's kind of an aggressive.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I love what they came up with that I don't think he did with Giselle in the third time through, where they hit each
He
other's
blocks it.
blows.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was fantastic. I loved that. I thought that worked really well. Yeah.
Now I will say he has done that with Giselle. Because
Oh,
when they
good,
did
good.
that, it was like, because it's one of those things you remember when you see it. You're like, oh, yeah, I remember. So because
But little Tony
and
handled
Giselle
that.
does it such a good job. She's always playing, then she's like, it's
But-
this sword fight thing that they do. Yeah.
But little Tony, she was able to do it, and I thought that was great.
Yep.
She is still with us. Tony Marcus is 76, has appeared in a few other films, is a very accomplished violinist. I'm delighted that she's had a continuing successful career.
Yep. Yeah. And I like that so many young people that have a talent, like so often with Jack, it's violin, that he brings on, and certainly Stuart Kanan is the ultimate, right?
Yeah.
But that so many of them go on and they have these wonderful careers afterwards, because there's a lot of people that you've been playing and you played till you were 12 and then you give up and you change directions and become an actress or do something different, and
Yeah.
you that just becomes something that every once in a while at a party or somebody will ask you to play, but it's not like it becomes part of your career. But so many of them, they stuck on that path and stayed on that, which is really nice to see that they did that. So
And he treats them with such respect.
yes,
You know, it's not, oh, you little freak, or oh, you unknowing child. You know, that's
right.
they end up in the same way that we've always said Jack could make all his guest stars, you know, look good. And
Yeah.
that's why the biggest names in Hollywood were willing to appear on his show. Nobody was going to be made fun of. Nobody was going to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And
Well, and that's the reason why the "oh, shut up" doesn't bother me, because
okay.
they're setting her up as like way more talented than him,
Well,
Yes.
and sort of like not confident but sort of carefree in a sense, right? And so because they're sort of setting her up as sort of like in some ways the mastermind, even though she's playing it as though, you know, innocently or
Yes.
whatever, by the time he says, "oh, shut up," you know, that person is established as, you know, in some ways being superior to Jack, certainly in Violin.
well, I will give you that. So yes. So.
Well, and I was thinking too, they could have had a lot of fun with his joke. You know, that joke that is always one of my favorite jokes of if he'd said at the end of it, you know, your playing is really delightful, and it sounds like you've gotten taken a lot from me, or you're a lot like me or something, and for her to say like, or you sound a lot like me, and then she could go, I used to, and then you know
Right.
that,
Yeah.
because that's always such a great zinger, and I just think that worked lovely. Or my mom
But
says
because every time Jack plays, I don't have a musical instrument bone in my body, but I try to appreciate it takes a lot of work to play badly
yes,
on purpose. You know,
yes,
because you not only have to learn to play it right, but then you have to remember and put the scratch or things in it. It takes both a lot of confidence and humility
yes,
to be willing, as much as he loved playing violin, to be
right,
willing to play it badly. So,
yeah, yeah,
Well, and there's a difference, I think, between just playing badly and playing comically badly, because
yes,
it is all about the timing and like
yeah.
at what point is it going to scratch, and those sorts of
yep.
subtle things, which I think he does amazingly.
Yeah.
And I would be really curious to talk to violinists and see how difficult that is, because it could either be really difficult. I could also see it be fairly easy, in that it could be like, yeah, when you're starting to play, it's always this squeaky mess, and so you know exactly how you used to do that, and you try
Mhm.
never to do that. But it's like to go back to that, all you have to do is change the bow slightly, and you go, and you get that terrible sound. And Jack, like you say, just like his comedy, it's all in the timing. It's using it just enough to go, because really what you want to be, I think, is when people are going, wow, he's surprisingly good. That's really, oh wait, and then you hit him with that,
Yeah.
lull them into thinking you're going to be actually okay this time, and then you hit him with that. So he does a beautiful job of it, and his whole interaction with I just love that piece of it, and I don't always love that because I've seen it so many times of him doing that with different folks. I just think this little girl does a really nice job of it.
She,
I can say that the whole bow fight thing that they do is, she does the timing on that perfect. I mean, because if you miss that, it's
yeah.
not going to work very well. And she had her right where it should be, and so they like cross bows, and yeah, it's charming.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we cannot not mention the most marvelous surprise of this episode of first setting up the joke with the beautiful women coming out with the violin and the
Yes.
bow, and then a really good way of doing the callback to it, of having in the second time of having the Mooley guy
Yes.
come out with supposedly the rosin, but then the incredible surprise of Don Wilson coming out in that incredible outfit, and he does have very good legs for being a big man.
Yes.
He did really well in those back seamed hose, so
He
and the
did.
high heels.
He
so.
did a nice job, and I thought, and yet, he never says a word, right? He just comes out and that's it, and delivers it or whatever, and then that's it. But he doesn't need to say a word. He looks fantastic, and the fact that they decided to go without any kind of, so they left his head kind of alone. Usually they have him in curls or something. But and I'm assuming they probably tried it both ways and were like, no, it's actually funnier if we.
Oh, it's way funny.
Yeah.
I tell you, that put this episode over the top for me. I loved the whole episode as a whole. I mean, the Julie London stuff was fine and good, but this is the kind of episode that I love the Jack Benny Show for, especially on television, because the playing with the format and the unpredictability and just the comedy out there-ness, like this, I think is one of the great examples of it. I love even the idea of having women come out and bring him his violin. That's the kind of thing you might see on like a Jackie Gleason show or something like that. But you wouldn't typically see it on, exactly, on a Jack Benny show. So in some ways, you're sort of like spoofing other television, right? And then to heighten that, like to add to that, and you've got this old man who says, I didn't know I was going to be coming back. I thought it was such a funny twist. And then when you got Don Wilson, like, he is so funny and he is the best at that. And even my wife, who, the three of us are huge Don Wilson fans, and many times we talk about how great Don Wilson is. When he comes out and then walks away, she says, Don Wilson is one of the most underrated actors, I think, ever. Like, it was so great. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Fabulous. I love that too. And the whole episode was great. I thought the song's interesting that she sings. Like Catherine was saying, like, it's very much in the kind of the vernacular that they use again. That's come back around to be your boyfriend. You refer to him as daddy and that sort of thing. And so it makes somehow it seems like, oh, this could have been done today.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting because she's doing like that sort of like Santa Baby, Eartha Kitt thing, or like a Marilyn Monroe thing. Certainly when she's talking, the whisper voice is sort of this Marilyn Monroe type thing. And to put that song in it, I mean, makes perfect sense. But I don't know if you've heard the original like single of that song. It's actually almost like a chorus of men. And so he starts by talking about, his girl and how she says, Daddy, and it's a whole chorus saying, you're gonna get the best from me. You should look it up. Firstly, it's a great tune.
Different style.
Wow.
But it's a very different, I guess the fact that they presented it like that originally gets people to used to the song, so that this doesn't seem, like you said, Kathy, so outrageously risque or whatever. Well, but when she comes out and she's, doing her thing and like complimenting Jack, and where he says, you're whispering again. That was another funny thing. And then, the crowd's going wild and she's like, what does he say? Wait for the laugh.
Yes.
Supposedly she was this is why she mostly back in the day did recorded albums rather than being a big Vegas performer, because she was kind of shy and nervous. Which is also why I think, again, I thought she lip synced to a recording of the record for her song. So. Yeah.
Well, like I say, during the studio ones where they weren't live, I think they more or less were usually lip synced. It's just because then you can just get it.
Well, you're right, because the cost for the orchestration, so it would have been expensive. So.
Right. And getting the sound to work, just the whole thing is difficult in that. Yeah. And then
here's the other thing that we haven't quite mentioned, because we've talked about, the girl doing the Giselle McKenzie bit. I do also like the way that they sort of get her onto the stage, where they've done it a few times where she comes up and she asks for an autograph. But I thought it was clever where he, in order to sign it, he has to do something with his bow and violin. So he hands it to her.
Yeah.
And she starts playing his thing better than him. And he's like, give me that.
Yes. Well, and I liked his grabbing it from her was kind of shocking for a second, but they both did it so well. It was like, okay.
Yeah. Something for a 12-year-old. I sure couldn't have been able to do that. So she has incredible poise and professionalism and acting ability. So.
Well, and then I was going to mention that the three girls that are on to bring him his rosin and his bow and his violin and everything, I was struck by. They were so beautiful. They really were. The first one was really pretty, and then the second one was even, I guess you'd look at it as slightly better looking, maybe. And then the third one was absolutely a knockout. And that plays later because, of course, when they do it again, the second time and then the third time, I mean, it becomes interesting as to how they play up on that, because you're going, oh, okay, this girl, now there's going to be the next one, now there's going to be the really, really pretty one again, and then it's like, oh, now it's a guy, and now it's Dawn or whatever.
Yeah. And I love the fact that he jokes that it cost him $600 to hire those.
And it probably did, at least that.
Yeah.
So interesting show all the way around. I love, a very good episode. And again, this season keeps on doing a great job of it, because it's neat that we're playing them, chronologically again, because you get to see, oh, now he's on with Perry Mason, or now he's doing this, and now he's on with Jimmy Stewart, and those episodes are spaced out amongst other episodes, and the Tennessee Ernie Ford one that we had, which is such an interesting one, playing with the idea of a remote, which is kind of a new thing then, or a satellite thing, I suppose we call it now, because remote people think we're talking about a remote, and it's not that kind of remote. Anyway, and then these three episodes we did today are all very different episodes from each other, and very distinct, and yet see, you could totally see how an audience would be like, you tune in, Jack, you never know what you're going to get 100%. And that's interesting.
The episode before this is a Western sketch.
Yes.
The episode after this is Alexander Hamilton powdered wig sketch.
Yes.
And this is totally, like, it couldn't get any more different than that.
And audiences, I think, were used to at this time getting the same thing over. So it really makes his show stand out, because most things get into a formula that they sort of follow, or where it's certainly it get more of that in the 60s, because then you get the high concept stuff where, oh, it's Jeannie doing her thing, or Bewitched doing her thing, or whatever it is. And all the episodes are very similar. And yet Jack stands out because it's always so different. And if they want, they can play with those other other shows and do spoofs on them within their show, and it works perfectly. So I'm actually surprised Jack didn't do more spoofs of television shows. Like, he didn't do, like, I mean, of course, Gilligan's Island was not on the air at the time, but I mean, certainly of Dobie Gillis, they could have had some fun with that if they would have done a Dobie Gillis-like show, or Beverly Hillbillies, or
and My Favorite Martian. There's so many things you could have
spoofed. On at that time, right when Jack's still in his heyday, he played more with them during his specials, because I remember in his specials he played around with the Addams Family and what's the Munsters, that were big shows. And I assume that was a big deal because they both came on the same year, so it would seem like, oh my gosh, the whole network's go, the whole industry is going to this horror thing, weird knockout, and so they his like grabs onto that. But anyway, all right. Anything else, guys? Are we good?
No, what a delight! Thank you for sharing this one with us.
Of course, and I'm glad I so like that we have these in such high quality, and that visually they're so nice to watch and everything, and that's lovely that we have them there, because mostly now we're in the syndication package. Every once in a while there's something that's not, but most of the things are. So they look good. All right. Well, thanks, guys, and we'll see you guys in a few weeks. Well, next week, actually. You guys see us every week. All right.
This has been a J&M production. And this is Don Wilson saying good night.
All right, listen.
You're tickling me, sir.
More McHale's Navy is...